Hey everybody, I just wanted to share with you what I'm about to do. Every year I go to Colorado to backpack out in the wilderness. This year it's going to be in the Eagle's Nest Wilderness, which is about driving time, about an hour and a half west of where I'm staying in Denver. So it's definitely much closer than that, but still with the roads, about an hour and a half. What I'm going to do is show you how I'm preparing for that. This year I'm going to be using a keto diet on the trail. I've been on keto for about 5 weeks now, really like it, but when I'm going to be on this trip, I want to make sure that I keep on my keto diet and stay within the parameters that I have set for myself. So I'm going to show you how I prepare my meals and how I'm going to pack it all together. Okay, so I'm getting ready for my backpacking trip up to Colorado. I do this every year, but this year I am going to be doing a keto type of diet while I'm up there. I've been doing keto for about 4 weeks or so now, and there's definitely some benefits to doing keto while on a backpacking trip. So I have things like this. Here is pre-cooked bacon, easy there, ready to cook, ready to eat kind of stuff there, which is really good. Little smokies. Hardly any, 2 grams of carb in that, which is really good. Found these here, which would be really good. Panino pepperoni wrapped with some cheese there, so good deal by far. Got a couple of those. Peanut butter. This has coconut oil in it, which is really good. Get that in the right place. Also, some prepackaged type of cheeses, which is going to be really good because that way they're individually sealed, and that I can keep them that way because I'm going to be out on the trail for about 3 days. But essentially, since I'm not going to need refrigeration because these are sealed, secondly, it's cooler weather, so that'll work out very nicely. Then I have this big hunking summer sausage thing. I was trying to find some of the individual ones, couldn't find them. So what I'm going to do here is cut this up and portion it out and then seal it up in my vacuum sealer. Last but not least, coconut oil powder. This is going to be good stuff to have because you've got to have good type of fats on a keto diet. This is great for that, and I'm going to use that like in the morning. I'm going to do a protein shake in the morning, which is going to be helpful for the rest of the day, plus all the protein I get with all the hair, but also the good fats. A couple things I forgot to add in on this inventory. Almonds, great for snacking as such. I'm going to do a mixture of almonds and pecans here, make my own little trail mix there. I could put a little bit of shredded coconut in there, but I need to go get some if I'm going to do that. But these are great things to have on the trip. Also, even though I'm getting a lot of fiber with stuff, I'm going to get some fiber to go along with some of the stuff as well. Because when you're out on the trail, fiber is a good thing because unfortunately there are no bathrooms except nature, and quite honest, for cleanliness purposes, fiber will be a good thing. All right, so one of the things you got to do, or at least I'm going to do in this particular case, is I'm going to portion out my meal so that way I know what I'm going to have when. And I'm going for a little bit over 3,000 calories a day as far as consumption because I am trying to lose some weight, but I also need nutrition while I'm there. So I want to make sure that I'm getting enough. Plus, I'm going to carry some extra just in case I get a little hungry in some areas and want to make sure in case something happens and I end up being out there a little bit longer, I want to do that. So for breakfast, what I'm going to do is a combination of protein and coconut powder and maybe some bacon. I haven't quite figured it all out yet, but I'm going to. The thing important about the protein is that this is the slow release variety, more casein. And you want that simply because it's something that's going to take a little bit more time to get into your system. It's not going to spike your insulin, whereas the whey protein would tend to spike your insulin. So I'm going to do something like this here, along with the coconut oil. Very simple. Now, generally what I'd like is to put things into individual containers. I also have a sealer, a food sealer that I could use as well, but this is a little bit easier because these are already pre-made. So I'm going to put each of these things into these particular packets. Now, there is a difference between the one that has a slider and this one here. I tend to like the slider one better simply because it will help keep this sealed, whereas food and other stuff can get into the grooves of this type and cause it to not seal as well. Plus also, if these are too big, I can use my food saver and actually put an actual seal here in order to take care of that. And these are disposable, but see, since I'm backpacking out in the wilderness, I'm going to have to carry these back out. But it's very light, so I'm not worried about the micro ounces of weight with these particular type of things. Another thing that I use to prepare for my backpacking trip is to make sure that I measure out what I'm eating, because I'm trying to keep my macros, protein, carbohydrates, and fat within a certain range. And so I use that to do that. One of the things I have done is obviously packaged my almonds and my pecans in there, and I have about 6 ounces in each of my containers. Oops, I might have been light on that one. About 6 ounces, and of course that includes the packaging there as well, so it's a little bit more than that, according to that. And because that's important to me, because that way I know exactly how much I'm getting, and I might have a little bit of extra with me in order to make sure that I have enough food in case I get a little extra hungry, and have it portioned out as something totally separate so I can still, again, keep everything in balance there. So what you see here is pretty much a full day's worth of nutrition that I'm going to be eating on the trail. Where I have, of course, my nuts here, half of this, lots of cheese, protein with oil, and of course my pepperoni sticks, things like that, and 8 ounces of this. So all that is going to be for one day. That meets the macros that I'm looking for, plus my calorie intake. Then what I'll do is very simple. I'll just pack everything that I need into one packet for the day. And of course I have to go get some new ones. These are not quite wide enough. But once I get it all in packages, it gives me another layer of protection as far as the scent is concerned. And then I'm done. And then of course anything like this gets backpacked out, because we leave no trace behind when we go out on the trail. Very simple. So what you see here is essentially one day's worth of food. Every ounce counts when you're backpacking, especially going up elevation, a couple thousand feet, up and down hills, mountains, makes a difference. So I'm going to weigh this and see that is almost 2 pounds. 1 ounce, 14 ounces. I'm sorry, 1 pound, 14 ounces. Big difference. That's important. But keep in mind, this is almost 2 pounds that I'm not going to have to carry the next day. Then you go to the day 3, I've already gotten rid of 4 pounds. That's important there. Every ounce counts, so that way when I consume stuff, I no longer have to deal with that weight, especially if I have to still go up elevation, go up a couple thousand feet, or up and down. So I could easily be doing 3,000 or 4,000 feet a day just going up and down. So see, now I have everything for my 3 days out there. This is going to be day 1. Then we come up with, of course, day 2. A little bit more because I don't have breakfast with day 1. Then, of course, a little bit less on day 3 because it's not going to be the entire day. We're coming back off the trail at that time. And then, of course, I've got my extra just in case I get a little bit hungry, need a little bit more nutrition. I can delve into this. And, of course, all of this goes into the nice, handy bag that's scent-proof, so that way the animals out there are not going to eat me because they smell the food. And there we go. Seal it up, and that's what I'm going to take with me. Feels a little heavy, but you know, after the first couple days, that's going to be definitely being eaten into, so not a problem. And I'm not going to be wearing my backpack the entire time, so it's not a bad thing. So that's essentially how I'm getting ready for my Colorado trip up in the Eagles Nest Wilderness. And this is how I'm going to do it keto style. I hope it turns out fine, and I guess once I come back, I'll let you know how it goes. I'm already sweating like a pig.